Hey guys, Mr. Killer365 here, and this is my review of the first episode of Robot Wars after 12 years. It's finally come back to our TV screens, and I thought I shared my opinions on the first episode. So to begin with, I'm finally happy that it's come back to our TV screens after 12 years, and obviously within 12 years a lot has changed. As I mentioned in my video, there were bound to be a lot of changes, and that is the case with this show. And so let's start things off with how the show was presented. Now, like I said, it's gone for like a Battle Thoughts kind of deal this time around. It was more focused on backstage stuff as well as the the fights itself. In my opinion, though, I think it was focused on the backstage more than the actual fights itself, which to me was a little bit boring, really, because the name of the program is Robot Wars, so you kind of like leave the backstage stuff until in between the fights, which they did but in my opinion they just did a little bit too much backstage stuff. The fights themselves, to be honest, I thought they were kind of a bit lackluster, especially with the arena. I mean, during the first fight, which was like a four-way match between Razor, Killy, Cranky, I think it was Nuts, and what else? I can't remember. Tailhurst, that was it. And because when you watch the old Robot Wars, you will notice, there's a lot more activities. The house robots will get a bit more involved. Of course, there's music in the background. Arthur Pierce will do his usual thing, which he did, and I'm glad that it was back on the commentary, like I said in the my previous Robot Wars video, which so he hasn't lost a step. He did a good job, Arthur Pierce, when it comes to commentary. But when it came to the fight itself, I just felt like there was something missing, like something was lacking, and I think the rule changes have made it a little bit lackluster, in my opinion. For example, once the competitor was knocked out, and I'm talking about later on in the show, once the competitor was knocked out, that was it. The fight was over. I mean, there was no, time for the house robots to get involved or anything and cause a little bit extra damage. It seems that they're trying to, minimize the damage as it is, even though it's a show about causing as much damage as you can. But as soon as you're knocked out and you're immobilized, that's it. The fight is over. It doesn't matter if it's like 10 or 15 seconds, which I do find a little bit disappointing. So going back to the first fight, Razor, which was one of my favorites to win the first heat, got eliminated in the first round, which was a huge shock, obviously, for a well-experienced team like Razor. And I thought, oh shit, this can't be happening. But then I realized that they have like a wild card rule, which in my theory is that it is given to any participants who have not made it to the for the past from the past heat. So there could be a chance that Razor could come back into this series via the wild card rule, but it could be given to someone else. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong about this whole wild card thing, but if you have a clear idea of what it is, feel free to comment down in the comment section below and explain what it is and how it benefits any robot. So now, when it came to the host, the seventh, Darrow O'Brien, Angela Scowlin, it kind of presented a show that I wasn't expecting them to do it. I mean, I was expecting Darrow to, come out first and say, welcome to Robot Wars and all that, and Angela Scowlin to, interview the teams. But it seems that, they both were doing that, because they were both interviewing the teams, and I found that a little bit strange. I mean, because in previous Robot Wars, Craig Charles would like introduce, you know, the audience to the show, and, you know, declare the winners and losers, and, you know, say the ending dialogue, and, you know, Philippa Foster or Julia Reed or what was the other one? I can't remember. But anyway, yeah. Main host will do those duties, and then the co-host will like interview the teams and, you know, go out, get all the backstage gossip and what's not. But apparently they were doing that, and I just don't see the reason for that. I mean, this was supposed to be Angela's, you know, duty to interview the teams, but obviously they thought, you know, it would take too long, even though the show itself is an hour long. And I just thought, you know, maybe they could have just let her, you know, interview the teams, you know, just like, you know, a couple of quick questions, and that was it. But when it came to the questions themselves, they know what they were talking about, and, you know, they don't make a complete arse of themselves, so, you know, I'm happy about that. So in terms of presenting, I think they've done alright, but could do a bit of improvement. You know, just let Dara, you know, introduce the, you know, the teams, and then or the audience to the show or whatever, and let Angela just interview, you know, the teams, and, you know, get all the backstage gossip. It also left Jonathan Pierce out a lot, really, because I think there were some parts of the show where Jonathan Pierce would be best suited to, like when it came to like the league table stuff. I thought Jonathan Pierce would be best suited to that instead of Daryl O'Brien himself. But so yeah, I think there were parts where Jonathan Pierce could have been better. Like I said, the league table, you know, and the lineup itself. What else? Yeah, and I think as well, I thought it was a bit weird that when it came to the head-to-head matches during the league table, you know, segments, I did find it strange that both teams were in the same control pod instead of separate, because if you're discussing tactics during the battle, then instantly the other team knows what you're gonna do and counter that with a tactic of their own. I thought that was a bit stupid. I mean, obviously you got enough you know, space to do that, but although that may have something to do with the Carbide and Nuts fight, where Dara reportedly that they were watching the fight in the other booth, and then the police of debris came through. Well, I wouldn't say came through, just like hit the glass, but caused no damage. But I think it was like to prevent, you know, any danger to the contestants, so they just basically stuffed them in the same control pods. So like I said before, I just find it a little bit odd that they would like stick two opposing teams in the same pod when they could have been in separate pods, you know, just to, you know, avoid like any you know, spoilers of like tactics and whatnot. So what they could have done, in my opinion, is have like Dara interview one team and then have Angela interview the other team. So, you know, it could be either way, like Dara interviews the loser or Angela interviews the winners, or it could be vice versa. So I think that could have been, you know, the perfect opportunity to do that, but for some strange reason the show just has them fighting in the same pod, which is, yeah, a bit stupid in my opinion. Speaking of lackluster, I thought, you know, the house robots were kind of left out, to be honest. I mean, and when you watch previous Robot Wars fights, as soon as like one robot is in danger but not completely immobilized, the house robots would like go in for the kill. But, you know, for the house robots to be, you know, built on the legacy that, you know, they're rule breakers, they're masters of destruction, they don't follow the rules except for their own, and, you know, when it comes to the right time, they will break their own rules to get an advantage. But they were rather tamed in this show. I mean, I was expecting, you know, any of the house robots to, you know, leave the corner patrol zones and you know, attack the little cluster bots, or go after all the, you know, more likely weakened robots. But no, they just were there for show, really. I mean, it was a little bit disappointing, and then, not to mention, there were opportunities where, you know, the house robots could have like got them and, caused a little bit extra damage, but instead just, poked them about and then just let them go. A clear example of this would be when Dead Metal had one of the competitors in his pincers, but instead of just like going in with the saw, he just, moved them around and just let them go, which I thought was a little bit disappointing, to be honest. And then there was another part where Carbide was stuck on the flame pit, and I thought it would have been a perfect opportunity for Sir Kill-a-Lot to pick him up and cause extra damage, probably hold him up above the flame grill a little bit more and then dump him down the pit. But no, he just shoved him back into play, which was again disappointing. And I mean, the way things are looking at the moment, it just seems that the house robots are a little bit completely necessary. But a little bit later on, Matilda finally got some action, which was good to see. Getting some damage done to Behemoth, and I think it was Nuts who got a lot of damage from Matilda. So when it comes to doing the most damage, you got to give it to Matilda. She was pretty much the most active house robots of all of them, really. She got more involved rather than Sir Kill-a-Lot, Shun, and Dead Metal. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, like I said before, it was a little bit disappointing that they did seem a little bit tame, for a group of robots that, cause havoc and destruction and break the walls whenever necessary. So hopefully in, the second episode, they'll be a lot more wilder than expected. So speaking of the house robots as well, I really wasn't too impressed by the arena itself. I mean, Vidara's, given all the stats and all that, bulletproof arena and whatever. I just thought, it could have been a lot bigger and not a lot more hazardous, because when you think of previous Robot Wars, you had like the angle grinders and the Pit of Oblivion, which in this reboot was a little bit disappointing, because when you watch the old episodes, you see it like slowly going down, and that really like built a lot of tension in both the audience and the competitors as the fight was going on. But this Pit of Oblivion, it just goes straight down, fast, anti-climatic, and and when a robot was pitted, like for example in the first fight, Razor and Killer Cranky, there was no like puff of smoke. It was just, there you are. Razor and Killer Cranky are eliminated, and the same with Behemoth and Carbide when they got pitted, and Terrors as well. There was no puff of smoke, there was no dramatic effect. It was just like, boom, there you are, in the pit. You lose the match, which I thought yet again was a little bit of a letdown, really. I mean, like I said before, when it goes down really slowly, it builds up tension, and you're like, oh shit, here it comes, someone is going down that pit. But like I said, it was a bit of a letdown, and I kind of hope like in the next series they improve on a Pit of Oblivion, probably make it a little bit more deeper as well, and make it a little bit gloomy looking to make it look like it's an endless hole into robotic hell. Now I want to move on to the league table itself, or to be honest, the show format. Oh, excuse me. Now, to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of it. I mean, I got a good vibe, from the two 4-way matches. I thought, oh, this is alright, I suppose. But then I realised that, once those matches were over, we're already into like the semi-finals, and once that's over, it's into the heat final, and it's probably barely hitting the 30-minute mark. And obviously I knew that there was no gauntlet trials or any special events like pinball, football, or sumo bash or anything, so I was a little bit curious of how it would go. And then when it got to the league table, with Nuts, Carbide, Behemoth, and Tailhurts, and the fact that they had to like fight each other numerous times, and I just thought I'm not really too keen on this. And the fact, both BMF and Terahertz were tied, and it was like due to the fact that BMF defeated Terahertz in a previous match that BMF goes through. That was a bit of a bummer, really. I mean, like I said before, I'm not a big fan of this league table. I think what they could have done is had like more contestants entered as well. So like, if you started with like I don't know, like 10 contestants, because remember, this is like kind of like an hour long. This is an hour long episode, so you gotta like extend, the matches a little bit longer, as well as the trials and the gauntlet, if they both exist. So if it was up to me, I would have like 10 contestants on each episode. Have a gauntlet, which eliminates one contestant. From the worst performer would get eliminated in the gauntlet. Same with the trials as well. And then have like, I'm not too sure myself, but I was after watching the episode, I kind of really wanted to see the return of the gauntlet and trials themselves. Just to get rid of this whole league table bullshit. I mean, to be honest though, I just felt that it kind of went for an identical carbon copy of BattleBots, which was which felt like a bit of a rip-off, because Robot Wars itself, when it first aired on our screens, was its own original thing, and then BattleBots came along and they had their own like format, whilst Robot Wars had theirs. But after 12 years, BattleBots is still going strong with their original format, whilst Robot Wars in this series have decided to adopt BattleBots' format and input that into their own format, which in my opinion hasn't worked well for them. So in conclusion, my thoughts overall are a little bit mixed. There are some good things as well. I mean, the fights were good, but they could be a little bit better. The house robots could do with more involvement as well. Let them leave the ZPZ as well. Instead of them sticking in the corner. Otherwise, what is the fucking point of a house robot if they can't come out of their own corner patrol zone? Made the arena bigger and with more hazards as well. Also improved the arena floor flipper and pit of oblivion. Don't bother too much with the backstage stuff, because while yes, it is nice to see the teams come together to help one of the competitors who is like badly damaged, but I reckon that could be best suited for like a special episode of Robot Wars, where they just like show all the backstage stuff and whatever, just like showcase all the teams that participated, and how they got together, as well as putting some clips of the past Robot Wars series, which also, now that I mentioned it, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought, for the opening segment, just before the show, started, I thought, they would like put some clips together, of past series, past moments as well, as well as the house robots, like they did in the BBC iPlayer special, which they put on a couple of weeks ago, entitled Meet the House Robots, where they had classic clips, but instead they just, had the footage of the contestants, drawing up plans and whatever, and I thought that was a missed opportunity to, showcase to younger / newer audience of Robot Wars who aren't quite familiar with the concept of Robot Wars, to showcase what happened, during the last, past series and whatnot. But obviously they've gone, for a modern look on the contestants. Another problem that I spotted as well, I wasn't too keen on the camera angles in terms of the fight, because it kind of made it look like cinematic and dramatic, as in previous Robot Wars. You just have like one camera angle, facing on the arena. You don't have like dramatic slow motion or during the fight, and it to me it just kind of ruins the fight a little bit. I mean, let us see the match in its entirety, without any of these slow motion bullshit or anything like that. And you're probably noticing that I'm, talking a lot of problems with the show, and like I said before, it's been a good show, but I kind of have like mixed feelings, and please forgive me if I'm being a little bit too negative, but like I said before, this is my own personal thoughts. I'm not speaking on behalf of everyone who's watched the show. I mean, they're entitled to their opinion, I'm entitled to mine, so I don't want to get in too much arguments or anything like that with other commenters saying, oh, you can't speak for all of us, you twat. But like I said before, I'm just speaking on my behalf. So yeah, back to one of the problems I was just about to mention. The lack of music. Because every time you watch Robot Wars, on Challenge, you will notice instantly that there is music to go with the fight itself. And sorry for the background noises. But yeah, like I said before, there was background music to go with the fights, and it really made it more entertaining. But in the show, it was just barely anything. I mean, all it was just like the sound of the robots fighting each other, and I just felt that was a little bit, like I said before, and I do apologize, anticlimactic. I mean, if there is some logical explanation, like I don't know, the sound team didn't have enough time to make some music for the show, or they just couldn't find the old music to go with it. Although in my opinion, they should have just found the old music and put it together with the fight. I mean, it would have made it a little bit more entertaining. But yeah, so in conclusion, and I do apologise for my stuttering, because this is not scripted, as you can tell. This is kind of live after nearly 20 minutes after watching it. I believe that there are some things missing, and there are some things that need to be added as well, and there's some things that need to be changed. Let's start over with the changes. I think they gotta have both the opposing teams on two separate pods instead of the same pod, because it just seems really stupid to have them both in the same pod. Make the house robots more active. I mean, they're just there for show at the moment. I mean, Matilda was the only one that got a lot of action, and that's kind of disappointing. Because a lot of hype was built up. Not only for this series, but for these house robots as well. So if it was up to me, I would also let them go loose. Bollocks to the walls. But yeah, the arena needs to change as well. It seems a little bit lackluster. Like I said before, change the pit, change the flipper, add a few more hazards, maybe some saws that come up from the floor, something like that. Bloody dogs barking. But yeah, like I said before, a lot of changes to be made. A lot of things lacking, and a lot of things, aren't very necessary. But in conclusion, I think it's a good show, and I think it will be good enough for yet another series. What they tend to do for the rest of the series of now, it's probably just going to be the same, unless they've made like little changes here and there. But hopefully, once this series is over and done with, they'll look at videos like mine, and a lot of other people's read the tweets, of people giving their opinion and whatnot, and thinking, oh, alright then, this guy says that this was completely unnecessary, so I guess that's fair, so we'll change that, yada yada yada. And hopefully, if the next series gets greenlighted, which hopefully it should do, maybe we can see the return of Sergeant Bash. So fingers crossed for that to happen. So like I said before, mixed feelings about the whole show as of late, but hopefully they will get better. But I just thought I wanted to share my thoughts with you guys on the first episode of Robot Wars. I'm not saying I hate it, even though there were a lot of disappointing factors here and there, but there have been some good factors here and there as well. So I do apologise if I sound a little bit confusing or whatnot, because like I said before, I haven't scripted this or anything. This is, just off the top of my head, especially since it's been nearly 40 minutes now since I've watched it as well. So hopefully it will get better, but only time will tell. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this I wouldn't say quick video, but this video of my thoughts on episode 1 of Robot Wars. Just before I go, I'd like to say thank you to all those people who've watched and commented on my previous Robot Wars video and helped me get to past 50 subscribers, which was one of my goals for this year. So as of this moment, I'm up to 57 now, and life is good. So thank you very much, and feel free to check out the official Robot Wars Twitter, which I'll leave in the description down below, as well as parody accounts of the house robots themselves, which I follow, just to have a little bit of a joke about. But yeah, so feel free to share this video, and if you can, I would like to get like a hashtag trending on Twitter, and that hashtag is hashtag bring back Sergeant Bash. Okay, so hashtag bring back Sergeant Bash. I want it trending on Twitter ASAP. So without any further ado, please subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Whether I'll do review of episode 2, maybe, I don't know, but feel free to subscribe to my channel for videos like this and other content like my video games and whatnot, and my podcasts. Check me out on social media in the description, where you'll find all of my links. And please share this video if you feel that someone needs to watch this video, and in terms of bit of a time killer, and feel free to share it with them. So until then, I shall see you later, and don't forget to subscribe. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.